I did.
More than you needed? Yeah, that's okay. All right. So we are going to do the review. You guys are gonna recognize this page because this is the one we did as the pretest. So it'll be interesting to see how you've improved from the pretest to now.
Hey, can we see it?
Why don't you go sit this on the back table for now? And then tear yourself out a piece of extra paper to do this with, and then we'll finish that up together at the back table for all of them. You know what I'll tell you? I don't have them ready to go to show you right now, and I'm not gonna take the time to pass them out immediately. Maybe when we're done with the test, we can compare, but I'll tell you what, I took an average for the pretest to see like the average of the class who got what. And across the board, the average percent for the pretest was 50.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Which honestly, I was impressed with. You guys had some decent background knowledge about multiplying fractions. I bet you though that when you do the final test, it'll be a lot better than 50, don't you think? Because we've all gotten better. And actually what my goal is for you to all to improve to 80% in multiplying fractions. That's my goal for you. So that's what we're gonna do now is we're gonna practice and review for the test. And then tomorrow you will have a test. So number one, read number one nice and loud, out loud for us, please. Simeon, go for it.
Which expression has an equal product to 3/7?
Try to read that sentence one more time.
Which expression has a product that is equal to 3/7?
You mix some number or some words around that time.
Oh.
Read slow. Which one has a product that is equal to 3/7? Raise your hand if you know the answer to this problem. Raise your hand if you know the answer to this problem. This one's kind of easy, isn't it? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Equal to 3/7. Which one would give me an answer that is equal to 3/7? Jacob, which one would give me an answer that is equal to 3/7?
A.
Why is A correct?
Because 7/7 is a whole.
Because 7/7 is a whole, and so I can just go, oh, look at there, change it into a whole. Anything multiplied by a whole is itself. And so I know that A is the correct choice. And if we did the work, if we came down to this and we did the 7 times 7, if I did 3 times 7, I would get
1.
And if I did 7 times 7, I would get
49.
right. And then if I look at both of those, I can tell that both of those are divisible by
7.
and I simplify it. I'll divide by 7. 21 divided by 7 is, and 49 divided by 7 is. And so even when I do it that way and I simplify down, I still end up with 3/7 as my answer. Okay. Anytime you're looking for equal to, you're looking to multiply by 1. Sometimes it's shown like this as 7/7. I think sometimes it's hard to remember that 7/7 isn't equal to 7. It's equal to 1. Yep. Because if I wanted to write 7 as a fraction, it would have to be 7/1. We don't say 7 once. 7/1.
Or just 7.
Or just 7. Yep. Number 2. Read number 2 for us, please. Read number 2 for us, please. Go ahead, Breland.
Julie cleaned her room for 4 hours on Saturday. It took her 2/3 of this time to clean out her closet. How long did it take Julie to clean out her closet?
All right, so she cleaned her room for 4 hours. 2/3 of that time was cleaning out her closet. So what expression would solve this for us? What expression or equation, either way, which one would solve this for us? What would tell us the answer? Kane?
4 times 2/3.
Yeah, because I'm looking for 2/3 of or times 4, right?
Or 4. Or
Yeah, you do need, if you don't have notebook paper, you're gonna need some out.
4/1.
Yep, we'll talk about that in a second. So for number 2, number 1, you really don't need any work because we just figured that one out, right? That one we didn't have to do the work to figure out. So for number 2, you're gonna need to write the expression or the equation to help you solve, because you're not just gonna know it right off the top of your head. oh, my turn. So we're trying to solve 2/3 of 4. Now, we're taking a whole number and we're multiplying it by a fraction that is smaller. So that tells us that the answer has to be smaller than 4, right? Because 2/3 of 4, 2 of 3 equal parts that make up 4 is going to be less than 4. That's pretty obvious. Can we rule out any of these options based on that? Can we say that any of them don't work based on knowing that it has to be less than 4? Can we rule any of them out? Ellie, why not?
Because they might have a hole, but none of them are bigger than.
Yeah, none of them are bigger than 4. So we can't rule any of them out as not an option this time around because they are all less than 4 already. If they had an option that said like 5 1/3, we could cross that out because we know for sure it couldn't be more than 4. Now we're going to have to do the work to figure it out, right? So there's a couple different ways we could do it. If I notice that I'm multiplying by a whole number, right, I could represent those equal shares. So I could show 4 boxes and divide each of those boxes into thirds, right? No, you don't have to write this part. You don't have to write this part. So I could split each of them into
Thirds.
oops, I split that one into too many. I split that one into 4. And then I could fill in how many of those? 2. And I could solve with a picture. Or what else could I do? What else could I do? Kyler?
You could do the equation and write out 2/3 times 4 over 1.
Yeah, so I could just do the multiplying across as well. So I drew the picture and we're going to multiply across and then we'll compare our answers for both of those. Okay? So then we can do 4 over 1. 2 times 4 is
8.
3 times 1 is
3.
now I'm going to have to take 8 over 3 and I'm going to have to simplify or rewrite it, right? Because it's an improper fraction. How many times can I put 3 into 8? How many times can I put 3 into 8? Freeland? 2 times, right? Because that would give me a total of 6. And then how many thirds would be left over? 2 of them. So I have 2 and 2/3. Is that one of our options? Yeah, it is. Let's see how that answer compares back here to our picture. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thirds. And so again, we solved that problem. We found that correct answer. You can multiply across or you can create the picture. Tate.
So, thirds?
Yeah.
2 and 2/3?
Because look,
Well, when I was simplifying it, because I found out that same thing, I went and I divided 3 by 8 and I got.
you should have divided 8 by 3. You have to divide 8 by 3. You have to divide 8 by 3, not 3 by 8. You did 8 divided by 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you shouldn't have a remainder 3 because 8 minus 6 is not 3, it is 2. So you would have a remainder of 2/3. Okay, does that help? Okay, let's go on to number 3. Number 3, which equation represents the area of the shaded part of the figure shown below? Okay, I feel like you guys liked this lesson the best when we drew these models, right? Helping you to multiply this way. So this should be pretty easy. The part that is missing is the swoops, right? They didn't fill in the swoops. So how can we do that? How can we figure it out? What is this model telling us? Lucia?
You can count like the top row and then the side row.
Yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what should I put in that swoop?
5, 6, because there's 5 darkened.
Good, because 5 of those 6 pieces are darkened, okay? And so then what about this way? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know there's a total of 7 parts and that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, of them are darkened. So now my expression says what? What is this model showing us?
5, 6 times 4 is 7.
Yeah, and then the answer would be
C.
C.
No.
No way, Jose, because check this out. I can do 4 times 5 is
20.
20, or I can count the shaded ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And 4 times 5 is 20, and 6 times 7 is 42. So this one has so many ways you can check your answer, right? So many ways to check your answer. You have to make sure that you read all the options before you just pick one. Okay? This goes back to that IXL we did, figuring out what does the picture represent? What is the picture showing us? Okay? Let's go on to number 4. This boy's name is Dimitri. Somebody read about Dimitri, please.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Elliot.
Dimitri was at the library for a 4/5 hour doing research. He spent 1/2 of the time on the computer. What fraction of an hour did Dimitri spend on the computer?
All right, so what expression solves this problem for us? He spent 4/5 of an hour doing research, and he spent half of that time on the computer. How much time did he spend on the computer? What expression solves this problem for us? Or what equation? What equation solves this problem for us? Kimber?
4/5 times 1/2.
Yeah, because I'm trying to find 1/2 of or times 4/5. So 1/2 times 4/5 or 4/5 times 1/2. Does it matter what order I put them in? Nope. Either way, I'm going to get the same thing because that associative property tells me that I can multiply in any order. Maybe that's commutative. I always get those two confused. I think it's commutative. Tells me I can multiply in any order. All right. So to solve this, what can we do? What can we do? Well, if we didn't know how to multiply straight across and we're multiplying 2 fractions, we could multiply using the
Number
model picture, or we could use a number line, right? We could use a number line. But since we know how to multiply straight across, what can we do?
Multiply straight across.
Yeah, so let's just go 1 times 4 is
4.
and 2 times 5 is. So how much time did Dimitri spend on his computer?
4/10 hour, which is B.
4/10 of an hour, which is B.
I thought he was gonna say C.
Now, I'm going to show you up here just as a reminder what the visual model for this problem would look like. So I would draw my box. And what would I have to split my box into first? What would I split my box into first? Ellie?
Half.
Yeah, into 2 equal parts or into half. And then I would want to shade one of them. So I will shade one of them in yellow. And then what would I split my box in the other direction? Raise your hand and tell me. How many would I have to split my box into the other direction? Izzy? 5 equal pieces. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many of those would I need to shade in, Miss Izzy? 4 of them. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what part tells me my answer, Jack? What part tells me the answer to the problem? The part that overlaps or is green. And so, Jack, how many of them are green? 4 of how many?
12.
No, not of 12. I have 1, 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a total of. No, I would have 1. Oh, you tell me again. Sorry.
4/10.
4/10. Yep. 4 out of 10 total pieces are shaded in. Does that match the answer that we got when we multiplied straight across? It sure does. And so there's another way for you to solve this problem. You can do all sorts of different things. Sit up, please. To help you solve each of these problems. There's always going to be more than one way. Okay, this one is going to be one of those logic ones. Okay, so listen close to the question. Carmen measured the weight of 2 rocks that she found. Rock A weighed 5/8 of a pound. Rock B was 9 times heavier than rock A. What is true about the weight of rock B that Carmen found? Okay. What is true about the weight of rock B? Okay, so if rock A weighed 5/8 of a pound and rock B was 9 times heavier, that means what would be the answer to, or what equation would be able to tell us how much rock A weighs? Logan? No, don't give me an answer yet. I want to know what equation could we use to solve. Go ahead and tell me. Right, because it would be 9 times greater than 5/8, right? If it's 5/8 of a pound and then the next rock is 9 times greater, that's what I would do. Now, based on what this says right here, which of these options would be correct? Okay, if I took 5/8 and I multiplied it by 9, would the answer be less than 5/8? No, because if I'm multiplying by a number greater than a whole, the fractional part will get bigger. So A is not correct because it would be bigger than that. If I'm taking 5/8 and I'm multiplying it by 9, it's gonna get bigger. Yeah, because it would end up looking like this. 9 times 5 is 45/8. And that's a lot bigger than 5/8, isn't it? So I know that's not true. Okay. B says it weighs less than 9 pounds. Is that true? If I take 9 and I multiply it by a fraction that is smaller than a whole, is the answer going to be less than 9?
No.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
5 of the 8 parts that make up 9 is not more than 9 is what I'm looking for there. But that's a little confusing. Because if I think about it, if I take 9 and I split it into 8 equal pieces and I'm only looking at 5 of them, that's less than the whole number. So anytime I take 9 and a whole number and I multiply it by something that is smaller than a whole, the answer is going to be smaller than the whole number. Okay, so B is an option. We're going to leave it open because we're going to check all of our choices first, but B could be the right one. Could it weigh more than 9 pounds? No, because I'm not multiplying by something that is greater than 1 whole, right? If 5/8 was greater than a whole, then it could be more than 9. But since I'm multiplying by something that is smaller than a whole, it's never going to be more than 9. And then it weighed more than 9 5/8 pounds. Are we just adding the 2 fractions together? No, that's not what we're looking at here.
If 9 5/8 is just 5/8 bigger than 9, so it would be still.
And that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so let's finalize our answer here. Let's think about 5 or 8 going into 45. How many times can I put 8 into 45? How many times can I put 8 into 45? Breland? 5 times, which gets me a total of 40 of them. So I would have 5, and then how many 8s left over? 5 8s. Okay. And so is that correct? Is it less than 9 pounds?
Yes.
Yeah. So we know for sure that
B is correct.
B is the correct choice. We can use logic and we can do the work to prove that our logic is correct. Okay. Let's show number 6. It says use the number line to show or to find the product of 1/5 times 1/3. Now, do you have to use the number line?
Yes.
You do. It asks you to use the number line. So you have to prove to me that you know how to use the number line. So raise your hand and tell me, what should we do first? What should we do first? What's going to be our first step if we're trying to find 1/3 times 1/5? 1/5. Ellie,
Could you split the number into thirds?
you want to split the number line into thirds? Okay, so I'm gonna go 1, 2, and I would have 1/3 and 2/3. Okay. Now, I need to take 1/3 and I'm gonna split that space from 0 to 1/3
We do 5 pieces.
into,
5 pieces.
because I want to know what is 1/5
Oh,
1/3, 1/5 of the way to 1/3. So then I'm going to take that distance between 0 and 1/3 and I'm going to split it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. But I have to do that to the other parts too, right? I still have to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the other ones. I have to split the other thirds into 5 equal parts. Now I have to mark what is 1/5 of 1/3. One of the 5 equal pieces on the way to 1/3. I would just mark that right here, right? Because that's the distance 1/5 of 1/3. Now, what is that compared to the whole number line? What is that compared to the whole number line? Hogan, how do you know that that's correct? Because if I think about it this way, if I split each of these 3 pieces up into 5, that means there's a total of 15 pieces. So this is one of 15 pieces. So my answer is 1/15. Do you have to use the number line for this one?
Yes.
If you just put 1/15 on the line, I'm gonna take a point off because you didn't follow the directions and use the number line. It says use the number line. You have to use the number line.
If they ask for a number line, will they have one drawn?
Yeah, it'll have one drawn, just like this one does.
Okay.
If you feel like that's not enough space for you, you're more than welcome to draw it on notebook paper and try again. That's up to you. Okay, let's go on to number 7. Number 7. So we're on the back side now. I want somebody to read number 7 for us, please. It's a skill to be able to read these. Read it out loud. Go ahead, Breland.
81 times 4 tenths.
81 times 4 tenths. Are you gonna have to show me this work on your notebook paper?
Yes.
You may not show it on the homework or on the worksheet page. So you're gonna have to show me number 7. And you're gonna have to show me how to solve this problem. What should my expression say to help me solve this problem? What should it say? Elliot?
4/10 times 81 ones.
81 over 1. All right, so 4/10 times 81 over 1. If you have 81 over 1 times 4/10, are you going to get the same exact thing?
Yes.
Yes, because order isn't important when we're multiplying. Okay, so we know that we're going to have to multiply across. So we're going to have to figure out what is 4 times 81. Okay, well, I don't know off the top of my head, so I might have to show a little bit of work. 4 times 81. 1 times 4 is
4.
8 times 4 is
32.
32. So 81 times 4 is
324.
good. Everybody should have that written down too, so you remember how to get to that point. Do you have that written down too? Good. Oh, but you have the 81 times 4 somewhere? Did you show me 81 times 4? Where's your original expression though?
So it's 32.
Okay, but you gotta show me 81 times 4 somewhere. Did you show me 81 times 4 somewhere to get that amount? No, but you didn't show me the work, because that's not even the right number. It's 324, not 321. show me 81 times 4. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that amount and I'm gonna put it up here. 81 times 4 is 324. And then I have to multiply the denominators. 10 times 1 is 10. Now, can I simplify this?
Yes.
You can.
Let's simplify it. Let's solve it. Let's simplify it down to a mixed number. We can do that. We can think, how many times does 10 go into 324, right? Now, what if this said 320? 10 would go in there how many times? 32 times. And then how many 10s would be left over? Jacob? 4. Or we can go like this and we can go 324 divided by 10. 10 goes into, I want you guys to show this with me. Show this with me. 10 goes into 3. How many times?
0.
0. 10 goes into 32. How many times?
3.
3. And that's a total of
30.
So I need to multiply and subtract. 32 minus 30 is going to leave me with
2.
2 and then 0. I have to bring down the,
4.
I bring down my 4. Can 10 go into 24?
Yes.
Yep. How many times?
Twice.
2 times. And that's a total of 20. And so then I'm left with
4.
4. And so that tells me I have a remainder of 4 or 4 over
10.
So my answer can be rewritten as 32 and 4/10. Did you show all of that work that I just showed and I asked you to show? When I said I want you to show this with me? Show it with me, please, when I ask you to do it. Okay. Number 8. Who wants to read number 8 for me? To read number 8. Jack, will you read the equation or the expression that's written for number 8?
12 times 8/3.
What do you notice about it right away, just by looking at it? What do you notice that might be a little bit helpful for us? Lucia?
8 is bigger than 4.
Yeah, so we're multiplying by something that is that's greater than a whole. So our answer is going to be bigger than either of those two fractions that we're working with. So that's a good, kind of a good way to just check. It's not going to tell us the answer, but it's a good way to check and know that when we solve, our answer should be bigger than either of those two fractions, 5/12 or 8/3. So let's go ahead and multiply to solve. I can do, I'm going to clear my board. I can do for number 8, you should show this work too. 5/12 times 8/3. I can do 5 times 8 is 40. And then I can multiply my denominators. 12 times 3 is 36. And then what do I need to think about?
How many times does 36 go into 40?
And how many times would that be, Elliot?
1.
1 time with how many 36 left over? We can think of it like this. This is how, this is how we were simplifying them last time. If I have 40 over 36, I'm taking 1 whole away, or 36/36. That's my 1 whole. 40 minus 36 would be 4/36 left over. So my answer is 1 and 4/36. 1 and 4/36 would be the answer to that. Could we simplify 4/36?
Yes.
We could, yeah, we actually could. We know they're both even numbers, so we could easily divide them in or by 2, but we can also divide them by 4. 36 is divisible by 4. If we wanted to, we could simplify it down to 1 and what? 4 divided by 4 is, and 36 divided by 4 is. So we could even simplify it further down to 1 and 1/9. But if you have this, I will accept that. Jacob,
So when me and my cousin were on the ski lift, I'm like, oh, what's 40 minus 36? And I'm like, it's 16. She's like, no, it's 4. I'm like, it's 16. Because 40 is a whole, or 40 is bigger than 36. And she's like, no, it's 16. I'm like, oh, it is 4.
it's just 4. Yeah, it's not 16. 36 plus 16 is going to be a lot bigger than 40, isn't it? It's a little off, but that's okay. All right. So we can answer number 8 as 1 and 4/6 or as 1 and 1/9. Either one of those is an acceptable way to answer. All right, number 9 goes back to our logics again, back to your logical brains. Okay, your logical brains. Place an X in the table to show whether each product is greater than, less than, or equal to 7. Each one of them is only going to get checked once. Only one is greater than, only one is less than, only one is equal to. So you're never, 5th grade, eyes up here, eyes up here. You're never gonna have this. And you're never going to have this. And you're never going to have even that. You should never have equal to twice. You should never have less than twice or greater than twice. Each of them will get used
Once.
one time. So let's take a look at 7 times 4 over 4. Where should I place an X for 7 times 4 over 4? Tate, where should I place an X for 7 times 4 over 4?
Equal to 7.
How do you know it is equal to 7?
4 over 4 is equal, as we all know, is equal to 1.
Exactly correct. And so I know the equal to right there, 4 over 4. I can just replace 4 over 4 with a 1. 7 times 1 is 7. So it is equal to 7. 9/5 times 7. Is that going to be greater than or less than 7? Simeon,
Greater than.
how do you know it's going to be greater than?
Because 9, this is more than one whole.
It sure is. And so if I'm multiplying by something greater than a whole, the answer will get bigger. And then last, I have 7 times 1/6. 7 times 1/6. Is that going to be greater than, less than, or equal to 7? Jack?
It would be greater.
7 times 1/6. Then 7. We're comparing it to 7. 7 times 1/6. Was that be greater than, less than, or equal to 7? It's going to be less than, because if I take a whole number and I multiply it by a fraction, the answer will be I'm not concerned about it. What I want is the answer to my question. 7 times 1/6. 7 times 1/6. That's going to be if I have 7, Jack. 7 times 1/6. Then I multiply it. That's taking 7 and dividing it into 1/6 of 7 is smaller than 7. It's less than. Because Jack, if I think about it this way, if I did 7 over 1 times 1 over 6, what would I get? 7 times 1 is? Yep. And 7 over 6 is the same as 1 and, right, because 6 can go into 7 one time with 1/6 left over, right? Is 1 1/6 less than, equal to, or greater than 7? Less than. So 7 times 1/6 is,
I thought you were asking for the answer.
nope, I was asking for greater than, less than, or equal to, just like we did for the other two right above it.
I said less than.
Yes, but after you guessed twice and then answered with hesitation, I wanted to make sure that you understood that that was the right choice. Do you see why it's the right choice? Yeah, okay, I hope so. Let's go on to number 10. Number 10. Amanda has 2/5 of a 150-page book
It's Keisha.
left to read. Oh,
Keisha.
sorry, it's Keisha. Sorry, I was reading the wrong test form. Keisha has 144 stickers. Of all of her stickers, 7/9 are animal stickers, and 1/8 of these animal stickers show dolphins. How many dolphin stickers does Keisha have? Ooh, so this one is tricky because we have to solve two things. First, we have to figure out how many animal stickers does Keisha have, and then of those animal stickers, how many are dolphin stickers? So we have to do two things. What do I have to do first to help me figure out how many animal stickers she has? How am I going to figure out how many animal stickers she has? Kane?
144 times 7, 9.
So I'm going to take the number of stickers she has and figure out 7/9 of those are animal stickers. Okay? So I would have to do 144 times 7/9. I'm going to put 144 over 1 because that helps me to visualize a little bit better. 144 times 7. I don't know that. So I'm going to have to set it up to figure it out. Okay. 7 times 4 is 28. 28 again. 28 plus 2 is, so I put a 0 and regroup a 3. 7 times 1 is, plus 3 is, so I have 1,008. 1,008 all over 9.
Wow.
Okay. Now, it says of that many stickers, 1/8 are dolphin stickers. So what am I going to do with this amount of animal stickers? Legend?
So would you times it by 1/8?
Yeah, I would take that amount and I would multiply it by 1/8 to figure out how many are dolphin stickers. So I would do 1,008 times 1/8, and that's going to tell me the total amount of, not stickers, dolphin stickers. So if I do 1,008 times 1, I still have 1,008. And if I do 9 times 8, I have 72. So right now I have 1,008 over 72. What does that tell me I have to do? What does that tell me I have to do? Hadley, what does that tell me I have to do?
Divide 1,008
By, not by 9. No, because you must not have wrote the stuff that we wrote down. We did 1,008 over 9, and then we multiplied that by 1/8. You don't have that step in here. We took that and we multiplied it by 1/8 because that's going to tell me how many dolphin stickers she has. So I have to take 1,008 and divide it by what, Ryan?
divided by 72.
Yep. So I'm going to set up 1,008 and I'm going to divide it by 72. Hey, can I put 72 into 1?
No.
Can I put 72 into 10?
No.
Can I put 72 into 100?
Yes.
How many times?
Once.
Then I'm going to subtract.
I already know what that is.
Okay. Can I, when I subtract 100 minus 72, I can't do 0 minus 2, so I'm going to have to go across and I'm going to have to
go all the way to 1.
Is that gonna help me?
No.
Here's what I like to do. I like to think of this as 10 and this as 0. So I'm gonna borrow from this. Well, that's not gonna work either. I'm gonna rewrite this. 108 minus 72. Okay, so if I borrowed that, I would go 0 to 0 to 0.
Outsmarting the teacher.
Can become 9. That's not gonna work either though. It would, I mean, yeah, you're right, it would. So if we think of this as 10, we'll borrow from that, it becomes 9, this becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, 9 minus 7 is 2. So now I have 28. And if I think about that, 72 plus 28 would equal 100. Yeah. I kind of had to think that one through a little bit.
And now I have to do it.
Okay, so now what do I have to do? I have to bring down 8. And I have to decide how many times can I put 72 into, not 8, 288. So I'm gonna try 72 times 2 first, just because I don't know. 2 times 2 is 4, 7 times 2 is, oh, so that's 144. Ooh, 144. Looking at 144 and 288, what do you notice? Jacob? 4, because 144 is like half of 288. And so then if I multiply 72 by 4, I would get 8 and 288. So if I put 4 there, I can subtract and come down to zeros. So how many dolphin stickers does Keisha have? Breland? 14 dolphin stickers. If this fraction right here, 1008 over 9, represents how many animal stickers Keisha has, how would I figure out the whole number answer of how many animal stickers Keisha has? This fraction, 1008 over 9, tells me the number of animal stickers she has. How would I find like the whole number answer for that? Instead of like 1000 over 8, what would I do, Allie?
Simplify.
Yeah, and that would tell us to do what? Divide. Yeah, 9 into 1008. So 1008 divided by 9. That would tell us the total number of just animal stickers. We wanted to find dolphin stickers. So we didn't have to simplify this part because we had another step to do. Okay. Don't forget that on the test tomorrow. You don't have to simplify that part because you have another step to do. Number 11. Bobby has 3/4 of a bag of chips. He eats 1/6 of the chips with his lunch. What fraction of the bag of chips does Bobby eat? Okay, so I have 3/4. And how much of the 3/4 does he eat? 1/6. So there's a couple different ways I could solve. Raise your hand and tell me what's one way I could solve. Kane, what could I do?
3/4. Well, I do it 3 times 1 on the top and 6 times.
So we could just multiply straight across. Yep. What else could I do? What if I wasn't very confident in multiplying straight across? What else could I do? Izzy? I could draw a visual model. What visual model do you think you would use?
Number line.
You would want to use a number line? You could use a number line. What else could you use? What other visual model? Jacob?
Like where you draw the box and then you draw 3 lines.
Yep, and so that one we call those like the area model. That one's considered like the area model for multiplying fractions. So you could do that too. Okay, so we're gonna set up what is 1/6 of 3/4. And we need to solve it. So Jacob says, let's try with that visual model, the area model. Okay. So I want you all to do this one with me, drawing the area model just as a good practice for those area models.
Can we do it on the paper?
No, you may not. There is not a space on the paper to do it.
Not even.
right? So first we're going to split the box into 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we would shade in one of the 6 pieces. You can just shade in this time instead of getting out the colors. Just shade light, whatever is shaded dark is your answer. How many would I need to split the box into going the other direction? Ryan? 4. So 1, 2, 3. And then I would shade how many of those, Ryan?
3.
3 of them. Whoops. And then whatever overlaps is my answer. And so then what would I find? What would be my answer? Jacob? 3/24. And if I look at multiplying straight across, does that answer match up with what we found if we multiplied straight across?
Yeah.
It sure does. If I counted this, I would have 1, 2, 3 out of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 3 of 24, 3/24. Okay, number 12. Number 12. Let's see. Allie, read number 12 for us, please. So for this one, it says write and solve an equation. So on the line, you have to have an equation and then an answer to it. So let's start with the equation. What equation would I use to help me solve for this problem? What is it that I'm trying to find? Trying to find the number of what? Sunny days. And so 10/12 of 96 days were sunny. So Jack, what expression or what equation would model this problem? What could I do to solve? Yeah, 10/12 of 96, or 96 times 10/12. And we are going to set that equal to what? What do you want to make it equal to, Jacob?
Well, I might know how to solve it.
Well, I'm going to have you put equal to something and then solve it. No, I don't want an answer. I want a letter to make it equal to for now. S for sunny days. I like it. Okay. So then we're going to need to figure out what is S equal to. So we're going to have to solve 96 times 10 over 12. Jacob, what do you want to do to solve?
So you would see how many times does 12 go into 96?
Oh, you want to go that way? And then you would multiply by.
You would multiply that one by 10.
So we can show that like this, right? 96 times 10 over 12. So really what we're doing, 96, do you know how many times 12 goes into 96?
Yeah.
Does it go in perfectly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 9. It's 8.
8 times, and then multiply by 10, you would get 80. Let's see if that, oh, because it's supposed to be 96. I went one step too far on that. I already times it by 10 when I said I was going to times it by 10, didn't I? So let's see if Jacob's method checks out with the method that we typically use. 96 times 10 is
1060.
divide or all over 12. So I would end up doing what? 960 divided by 12 Do I have to set this up with long division?
No.
You can go back to that math we did super early, the first thing of math we did, and you can go, well, if I know that 12 goes into 96 8 times, all I have to do is put 8 and then bring along that 0. And so I have 80. So of those 96 days, how many days were sunny? 80. Does that match up with what you found, Jacob? Yeah, it's the same thing. Jacob just went 96 divided by 12 multiplied by 10. Same difference. Same difference. There's multiple ways to solve these problems. All right, and then we're down to
The last one.
the last one. Okay? Our last one. Are we ready to solve it? It says a park district is replacing the seat of the bench shown in the diagram below. Part A says, write and solve an equation to model how to find the area of the seat. Well, we all know that area is what? What is area, fifth graders?
Length times width.
So we know we're going to have to do what to solve? Ellie?
7/3 times 3/5.
Yeah, so it says, write and solve an equation to model how to find the area. So our equation will be
7/3 times 3/5. Not easy.
right? It says write and solve. So we're gonna need to
Solve
solve it, right? I'm gonna do 7 times 3 is
21.
5 times 3 is
15.
okay. So for part A, you can leave it like this. But for part B, you're going to have to simplify it, rewrite it into a mixed number. So what is the area of the bench's seat in square yards? Don't forget that label or it will be counted wrong. How am I gonna think about that? How many times can I put what, Elliot? 15 into?
12,
No, into
21.
21. How many times can I put 15 into 21? Just one time, right? So I know it'll be 1. How many 15ths would be left over then?
6.
Jacob?
I had my hand up for the other.
Oh, the other what?
Like, how many does 15 go?
Oh. Okay, so it goes in there
Once.
one time, right? And so I can think about it as that's taking 15 15ths away. 21 minus 15 is 6. So how many 15ths are left over? 6 15ths. So 21 over 15 is the same as
1 and 16 square yards.
Could I simplify 1 and 6 15ths even more?
Yeah.
What do you notice? What could I divide each of those by, Breland? They could each be divided by 3. So then I would have 1 and 2 fifths. Yeah, you can simplify it further. And then what's the last thing I'd have to make this answer 100% correct? Because right now it is missing something. It's the last thing I would need to make sure this answer is 100% correct. Kimber, I saw your hand up. What do I have here?
You have to have a label.
And what would my label be?
Square yards.
Square yards. Very good. Because we're working in
Square. Cubic.
not cubic area. If we were cubic, we'd be looking at
Volume.
volume, right? Because it has 3 dimensions. Cubed 3, squared 2. Okay, so I am going to give you
5 minutes.
I am going to give you the review blue page to use to study. Okay, we didn't do any of them this time, but you can use them to help you study. Okay, so if you study and you have a signature, I should see a few of the problems on this done for me to give you a bonus point, right? Show me that you practiced. Show me that you didn't just look it over and say, yep, that's good. Show me that you did a little bit of practice with it, okay? Use this to help you. Okay? You don't have to do every single one of them. Maybe there's a certain thing that you aren't good at. Maybe the area models are really tricky for you and you want some extra practice with that. Use this as a tool to help you study, okay? So I'm gonna pass this out, and what you're gonna do is you're going to put them in this order. Blue, test form, notebook, okay? Blue, test form, notebook. Then I'll come around with the stamper for the signatures, and then we'll put them in our mailbox and be done with them for today. So when you get it, you're free to start from right here in the corner.
Well,
Yep. It's what? Oh, when you start it? I got you, okay. Then have it sitting on your desk and I'll come around with my stamper. No, you can wait. We're gonna lunch in like 3 minutes. Okay, I shouldn't hear quite so much talking. Okay, it should be sitting on your desk so I can stamp it.
I might accidentally forget my mail tonight, so I'm gonna just put it in my.
Blue, test one. Nope. Put them all together.
I got.
Okay, class.
Yeah,
Here's what you need to do. Take out your Tiger notebook, put the math review packet into your folder, and then open up your planner, and we gotta write in assignments for today. Okay, put in reading, put in math, cross off what you have done. Okay, after lunch, I'm gonna keep some of you in from recess. If you're not done with 8.7 math, you're gonna need to stay in from recess. And then I'll have a list of people to stay with me to do some math corrections. Okay, so when we come back from lunch, you should just sit down in your desk and we'll discuss who I need to keep inside with me. Okay. If you have that written in your planner, then you're free to line up. Yep.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, now.